Yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and our coverage of the WWE. Today we'll be talking about one of wrestling's most iconic characters. Of course, a superstar. He's been around for a long time. Will we get to see him again? We'll discuss it. We're going to bring in C-Dub, basically our encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge. Hopefully he can give a good prediction and let us know if we have any chance of seeing The Undertaker anytime soon. We're also going to be joined up with Mike. He's a longtime wrestling fan, and Miguel, I know The Undertaker is one of your favorites.
Definitely one of my favorites. Saw him in so many matches, so many memorable matches.
Yes, and of course, we saw him in person.
Yes.
I know we went to it was an event back, I think, in '98, and one of the best years of wrestling, one of the best years for The Undertaker, and maybe we can go see him again, or perhaps we have missed our opportunity. Is he done gotta? Let's bring in Corey via satellite, hanging out in his wrestling man cave in Tennessee. Corey, what do you think of The Undertaker? The last time we saw him, you can see right now, he was getting a little bit manhandled by Brock Lesnar. What do you foresee?
Well, obviously the last time we saw The Undertaker, he lost. The streak was broken at WrestleMania 30 by Brock Lesnar, who has subsequently went on to capture the WWE Heavyweight Championship again, off of the momentum of that big victory. It was shocking. We've all had time to let it set in by now. It certainly came out of nowhere. By my best research and all the indications that I've found, the decision wasn't made at WrestleMania for The Undertaker to lose and to have the streak broken until roughly about 4 hours previous to the show starting. And only about 2 or 3 different people knew that it was going to happen. So, it was definitely something that, to me, it feels like it was a decision that may have been made hastily, possibly in retaliation of the fact that The Undertaker, at almost 50 years old, the guy has had a ton of injuries.
Man, 50 years old. I didn't even realize he was that old for a guy that we've been watching for so long. All I can say is time flies. He had that 21-0 streak that was broken. Just so you guys know, of course, The Undertaker went through a bunch of different names. I remember he had the Commando, Punisher Dice Morgan, or just the Punisher, Texas Red, the Master of Pain, but everybody knows him as The Undertaker. He had a longtime manager, Paul Bearer, also very memorable. Man, there's just so much to talk about with The Undertaker. We'll definitely be doing kind of an Undertaker retrospective. We'll break down all of his biggest matches, and if he's possibly the best wrestler of all time. I know that's saying a lot. There's a lot of guys that can be put up on that pedestal, but to me, he's definitely in the argument, to say the least. Now, C-Dub, do you think The Undertaker, are we done with him as a WWE champion? Because he is old, so I would think, if we ever do see him again, it's just going to be against probably the biggest of stars, and that's about it.
Yeah, most likely so, guys. The fact of the matter is, Undertaker has been a part-time WWE superstar for quite some time now, due to, like I said, all these injuries that have piled up. He's had groin tears, bicep tears, pec tears. He's, as we hear a train go by here in the background, he's never been hit by a train. Thankfully. He has, broken orbital bone. He was burned by his own pyro. He's had dual hip replacements. He was in that famous match against Mick Foley in '98 in the Hell in a Cell. He was in that match with a fracture in his foot.
Yeah, I remember that
If
one.
you take if you take all of those things along with the innumerable amount of concussions that the guy's had over the years, uh, Undertaker is likely not going to be the WWE champion ever again. The fact of the matter is, I mean, he's held that title so many times. Going back to, he was one of the first people I can recall to win it within 1 year of his debut in the company back in 1991. But I mean, at this point, the Undertaker is so above that. That's one thing that I kind of try to stress about the Brock Lesnar title reign right now is he's the guy to defeat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. To me, that's bigger than than any title or championship belt could possibly ever be. And we're certainly seeing that Brock Lesnar is one of those calibers of athlete right now during his pretty dominant title reign.
Now, Mike, I know The Undertaker is one of your favorites, if not, maybe even your favorite. We'll have to get into that another day. Do you think anybody could ever replicate, what he did? I mean, his intros, you have to say, he might have the best intro of any wrestler ever. It's just awesome, to say the least here. Do you think anybody could ever replicate or basically reproduce this kind of character on this epic and grand of a scale?
No, I don't think it can be reproduced. I think, the person that's even closest is Kane, and he's, sort of tied into the storyline of Undertaker in a way, as,
Well, it's his brother, of course. And now he's in the Authority, where the Undertaker you would never see in the Authority, that's for sure.
Right. So, I don't think, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we can see anybody ever come close to The Undertaker again. You have guys like Bray Wyatt that have their own devilish character, their own thing, and maybe one day we'll see someone like him get on The Undertaker's level. But the fact of the matter is, The Undertaker's been around for so long. He has so much history behind him. It really is amazing. Wrestling has a crazy history. Now you just see the WWE. There are some other factions here and there, but really the WWE is king when it comes to wrestlers. And you don't have the multiple, different factions and all the stuff you had back in the day that made these wrestlers even more epic. They were all, you didn't see them all the time. It was really kind of crazy. Corey, for those who don't know, what can you tell us about the Undertaker's history, of course, going back to his roots?
Well, he debuted, ended up spending some time in Japan, as you mentioned, as Punisher Dice Morgan, teaming up with a couple guys, Scott Hall over there, as well as a few others. He was in the USWA in Memphis as the Master of Pain, and I believe he was in World Class Championship Wrestling out in Dallas, Texas, the Von Erichs territory, as Texas Red, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he was managed by Dirty Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Zeb Coulter. He then went on to fame as Mean Mark Callis in WCW around 1990. He was actually managed by the mastermind behind this streak ending, Paul E. Dangerously, a.k.a. Paul Heyman. He spent most of the late 1989 and 1990 there before debuting for the WWF in November of 1990. His official debut was at the Survivor Series. This picture we see right here of him tossing Coco Beware, the Birdman, right into the top rope throat first is actually from that debut match. And as I said earlier, within 1 year, The Undertaker was the WWF champion. He defeated Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 1991 with a little bit of help from the Nature Boy Ric Flair. But either way, he captured the title and perhaps went to the main event quicker than anybody else in WWF history at the time. And, let's face it, guys, we're 25 years almost removed from that. 1990, his debut. November of 2015 would be 25 years after. And to me, guys, to have a run like that, he's been on top since he started. I mean, from 1991 on, he was a main event player in the WWF, WWE. Nobody has ever had a run like that. He certainly paid the price for it physically. And I mean, kind of tying it all back to the topic at hand, I have a feeling here, guys, just to kind of jump out on a limb, I have a feeling that we haven't seen the last of The Undertaker in the ring.
I hope not, Corey. And I know you touched on some of the, of course, the wrestlers that he faced off with, and in some cases even teamed up with some epic old school wrestlers. You said Ric Flair helped him out. I remember he was even teamed up with Jake the Snake Roberts at one point. We can keep going on. Even a epic match against King Kong Bundy back in the day. So a lot of stuff we'll definitely get into with the retrospective, that's for sure. Now, I have to ask you one thing, C-Dub, as we get, of course, as we end this video here. If Undertaker does return soon, possibly maybe next WrestleMania, sometime here. I know, man, he's been through so much. It's been around for so long. Who do you think? Who would you foresee him facing off with? With the possible return of Sting here, there's been rumors flying about possibly maybe a Sting versus Undertaker match we've all wanted for so long. Or would he get a revenge match against Brock Lesnar? Or possibly even Bray Wyatt. We talked about Bray Wyatt. Maybe that's a huge clash there. What are you thinking here? If you had to not only guess, but kind of what you would want yourself, what would you think would happen here for an Undertaker matchup?
Well, I mean, there's certainly a pretty good possibility we could see The Undertaker in his last match in March or April of 2015 at WrestleMania 31 in California. Guys, there's a lot of rumors that WrestleMania 32 is going to be in Jerry World, Cowboy Stadium in Dallas. Texas is certainly The Undertaker's home state. I would love for it to be able to happen on a huge stage like that, but, given the limited time and all the injuries and everything, chances are if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this year, and then next year we would see him go into the Hall of Fame, hopefully in his home state of Texas. Now, getting back to the WrestleMania 31 one last match scenario, of course, Sting is a part of WWE now, not in the ring as an active competitor yet. He's basically promoting the WWE 15 video game. He's going to appear in that. The company can now use his likeness. They started selling Sting t-shirts and masks. I feel like after last year's match between Taker and Lesnar and the injuries that Undertaker sustained, the concussion and all that stuff, I don't think Undertaker versus Lesnar again is a viable matchup. I mean, it would certainly sell, but at this point, I think they need to leave it alone, as Brock Lesnar is the guy who did it. And I would like to see myself personally one last match for the Sting as well as The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. Both of them say they're going to put it all on the line. Loser must retire. And, that's two guys we've never seen face off. They've always been the two franchise players for each company. There's really no telling what would happen, or if The Undertaker even will retire, or maybe he'll just fade out. I would certainly like to see him get his just due and go into the Hall of Fame. I know you guys would as well, and a lot of those people out there also would. I don't think, guys, we're going to see The Undertaker rest in peace.
Man, this is probably my favorite wrestler, guys. I love The Undertaker so much. I think we're going to see him at least one more time. I think one more time is enough for me. That one last time where, he can hopefully get a victory to put himself away and go away in a truly unique fashion. We all know about his interesting intros and how crazy they get. How about an outro for The Undertaker? I think he deserves something pretty cool, we'll see what we get here from The Undertaker. We really haven't heard too much lately. We've talked about a lot of the old school wrestling superstars that The Undertaker has faced off with. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Attitude Era that he was a huge part of. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Big Show, The Rock. You know, all those guys really, of course, Mankind we mentioned. All those guys owe a lot to The Undertaker. This guy is irreplaceable, and hopefully, like we've said time and time again in this episode, and we'll say it more, we can see him at least one last time in the ring doing what he does best. This guy's massive. They bill him at 6'10", 299. What a monster. Thank you for joining us, Mike. Hopefully, maybe he comes close, because if he gets in the ring, we're going to fly out and see this guy, man. We got to see him. We might not get another opportunity. Make sure to stay tuned, guys, and, of course, watch all of our Raw reactions and all of our pay-per-view coverage as well. We put out previews and huge recaps. I think you guys will really enjoy that, so make sure to stay tuned here at Trippy Comms for the best wrestling coverage on YouTube. C-Dub, Undertaker, is he in your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
There's no doubt about it. He might even be top 3. Hell, he could be number 1. Like I said, nobody's had a run like this guy. We're 25 years removed from his debut with the company, and he is still a main event player. People are still talking about him even whenever he's gone. I really hope that he's in good physical condition, and that we're going to see him one last time, hopefully against a guy like Sting at WrestleMania 31. Guys, for RJ and Mike, stay tuned to all of our Trippy Commentaries wrestling coverage, and as always, stay trippy.